Motley blasts kidnapping claims in Caribbean arrest, CARICOM arrest row. 2 robbed at gunpoint in Lambeau late-night attack. And UTP leader Lambeau's Prime Minister's break with CARICOM Peace Award. Good evening, I am Kristen Salandi and you're locked into the Tobago Updates television news for Friday 27th of February 2026. Now to our top story. The 50th CARICOM Heads of Government meeting continues to feel the ripples of a heated exchange between Trinidad and Tobago and Barbados. Following comments made by Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar regarding a controversial cross-border arrest, Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley is firing back. Joel Green George has the details.
What was intended as a celebration of 50 years of regional unity has instead put a spotlight on legal friction. The tension stems from a previous incident involving the arrest and transfer of a suspect from Barbados to Trinidad and Tobago. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar's opening day remarks, which characterized the act as kidnapping, have met a sharp response from her Barbadian counterpart. Prime Minister Mia Mottley says the actions taken by the Barbados Police Service followed standard regional protocols that have been in place for decades.
It's clear that the Trinidad and Tobago Police, as has been the practice for decades in this region, would have supplied an arrest warrant which the Barbados Police would have acted upon.
Mia Mottley argues that the formal extradition process used for international partners are rarely applied within CARICOM. She admits that while current methods are consistent with past behavior, the system itself requires a modern upgrade to avoid these legal gray areas.
And therefore, to that extent, we acknowledge that we need to be able to change how we operate. That is why the CARICOM arrest warrant is being pursued. That is why legislation has to be passed in every CARICOM country to be able to facilitate that CARICOM arrest warrant.
Despite the call for legislative reform, Mottley did not hold back on the kidnapping allegations. She defended her administration and civil servants against the claim, labeling the rhetoric as a direct attack on the integrity of the Barbadian government.
But to describe it as kidnapping or to suggest that any member of cabinet or any member of the permanent secretary class or government of Barbados is involved in kidnapping is a scurrilous lie and defamatory in the extreme.
The summit is now closed, but the focus now shifts to where member states will fast-track the CARICOM arrest warrant treaty to prevent further diplomatic fallout. Joel Green George, Tobago Updates Television News.
2 men were robbed at gunpoint along Milford Road, Lambeau on Thursday night at a brazen late-night attack. Around 10:25 p.m. on February 26, 2026, the victims were seated inside a parked beige Mazda 323 when they were approached by 2 armed assailants. One of the attackers, described as fair in complexion and dressed in a blue t-shirt and black jeans, reportedly pointed a firearm at one of the victims, forcibly removing him from the vehicle. The suspect allegedly struck the victim several times with the weapon, causing him to fear for his life. He subsequently handed over 2 cellular phones, a Samsung and an iPhone 12, along with $1,000 in cash. The second victim was accosted by the other assailant, described as dark in complexion, of medium build, and wearing a red long-sleeved shirt and black jeans. That suspect reportedly stole an iPhone XS before both men fled the scene into nearby bushes. Police officers responded to the report and processed the scene. Enquiries were made for surveillance footage in the surrounding area, however, none was located. Investigations into the incident are continuing. Unity of the People leader Nkosi Phillips is calling on CARICOM heads of government to ignore recent statements made by Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar regarding regional security. Phillips claims the Prime Minister's rhetoric is damaging diplomatic relations and fueling domestic division. Joel Green George has the story.
The political atmosphere in Trinidad and Tobago is growing increasingly tense following controversial remarks by Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar. Unity of the People leader Nkosi Phillips is now leading a charge against the Prime Minister's assertion that the region is no longer a zone of peace. Phillips argues these comments threaten decades of established foreign policy.
Kamla Persad-Bissessar also stated that the Caribbean is not a zone of peace and Trinidad and Tobago is not a zone of peace. And that is total madness.
The Zone of Peace concept, formally recognized by the United Nations and the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, or CELAC, commits regional leaders to the non-interference and peaceful resolution of disputes. Trinidad and Tobago remains a central pillar of CARICOM, which facilitates over $3 billion in regional trade annually. Phillips warns that abandoning this peaceful stance could isolate the Twin Island Republic from its neighbors.
The people are calling on the heads of government of CARICOM to disenfranchise or dismiss the conversations that Kamala is having as regards to her citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. She doesn't speak for us, or she does not speak for the right-thinking citizens.
The UTP leader is also raising alarms over social stability. Phillips points to a growing trend of online friction, noting that the Prime Minister's recent actions are aggravating a sensitive racial divide within the island.
As we are seeing on social media, all our social media persons that are turning against her because she's condemning them, and we are seeing a racial divide in our country.
Phillips is urging CARICOM leaders to maintain diplomatic channels with other political figures if they find the current administration's stance unworkable. The UTP leader insists the focus must remain on regional unity and the welfare of the citizenry rather than political power plays. Reporting for Tobago Updates Television News, I'm Jewel Green George.
Up next, Tobago must reclaim its agricultural independence.
Coming up, fets, pan, parades, soca. Yes, carnival is in full swing. Artists from all over added their strokes to Antigua and Barbuda's canvas. A boost for these Barbadian projects through the power to make a difference. Equal servings of culture and good cheer. It's Caribbean. Coming up, fets, pan, parades, soca. Yes, carnival is in full swing. Artists from all over added their strokes to Antigua and Barbuda's canvas. A boost for these Barbadian projects through the power to make a difference. Equal servings of culture and good cheer. It's Caribbean Passport TV right here on this station.
TL Promotion presents Laugh and Live this Good Friday, 7 p.m. It's non-stop laughter at Bertrude Legacy Park, Lowlands. Special guest from Jamaica, Mr. Funny himself, Owen Blacker Ellis. From Trinidad, Rising Comics, Alan the Entertainer, and Son. And from Tobago, amateur comic, Bishop Terence Baines. Listen, this is a laughing matter. Get your tickets now at Den's Electronics, 2nd floor, Port Mall, Scarborough. an Island e-tickets or call 685-1988. At the door, you will pay more. It's gonna be a family affair. Laughter is good for the soul, whether you're young or you're old. So get your tickets now. You can't afford to miss it. Add some laughter to your Easter.
Thanks for staying with us. Concerns over the state of agriculture in Tobago have resurfaced, with farmers warning that the island is becoming increasingly dependent on imports. Roland Murray of the Goldsboro Farmers Association says the decline in full-time farming highlights a lack of seriousness towards the sector, despite Tobago's land, labor, and production potential. Here are the details.
Roland Murray, a farmer with the Goldsboro Farmers Association, emphasized Tobago is not treating agriculture with the seriousness it deserves, noting that the island has very few full-time farmers. According to Murray, the lack of commitment is reflected in the small number of permanent farmers currently operating, adding that this clearly shows agriculture is not being prioritized. He stressed that for the sector to grow and become sustainable, greater focus must be placed on encouraging and supporting full-time farmers across the island.
Farmers in Tobago, we're not taking farming seriously. As a matter of fact, we don't have much full-time farmers in Tobago. So that is one of the things to show that we're not really serious. Most of the farmers in Tobago, I think the last count we had about 65 permanent farmers. I wouldn't say full-time, because when I say full-time farmer, you're talking about someone who just doing farming, right? So the breakdown starts rightly.
He stressed that Tobago should not have to depend on outside sources for its basic food needs, pointing out that the island has a small population, available land, and capable men and women who are willing to work the soil. There is no reason Tobago cannot be more self-sufficient. He added that seeing basic agricultural produce such as green fig and coconut being imported from Trinidad is deeply troubling.
You're not supposed to be depending on any country. For that, we supposed to be, Tobago is a small place, a small population, and we have land. We have land, we have strong men on the land and women. We're not supposed to be depending on nobody. When I see things like green fig coming from Trinidad, coconut coming, it does hurt me, my heart inside. We're not supposed to be bringing, these things not supposed to be coming to Tobago, lettuce, pak choy, chive, and these simple things, 3 weeks crop coming to Tobago.
Tobago was once a major supplier of agricultural produce to Trinidad, and when asked whether that level of production can be achieved again, Murray expressed cautious optimism.
Of course, definitely, as I tell you, the lands are still here. We didn't have no big major development houses in Tobago to say, well, the population gets so high and the land's being taken up, being occupied by commercial development. All the estates still here. All. Yeah. I just travel around all them estates and all them estate abandoned and was with grandparents and them own. Plenty of them estates still have cocoa, they still have fruit trees on it.
Murray stressed that reviving Tobago's agricultural sector is not just about food production, but about restoring pride, self-reliance, and economic resilience. He said that with deliberate action and a renewed commitment to farming, Tobago can reclaim its role as a key agricultural hub, ensuring food security for its people while creating meaningful opportunities for the future generation. This is AMPLIA Balgobin reporting for Tobago Updates Television News.
Earlier this month, newly elected Tutor Tobago Division Officer Dion Rodriguez began pushing for improvements in teacher leave classification. However, he revealed that without an official authorization letter from the Minister of Education, Tobago lacks the authority to act leaving leave classification unresolved and delaying any meaningful progress on the issue. Here are the details.
Earlier this month, newly elected Tutor Tobago Division Officer Dion Rodriguez was sworn in, with one of his major agendas being the review and improvement of leave classification for teachers. Following his first meeting with the Division of Education last Tuesday, he emphasized discussions were productive and focused on resolving long-standing concerns, with commitments made to examine existing policies and implement clearer, fairer guidelines going forward.
Now, what had happened in principle is that tutor would have agreed, because it was cumbersome, having to have extended sick leave and other types of leave go to Trinidad to be classified and then return to Tobago. An agreement was made that those leaves should be done in Tobago under the office of the Chief Secretary at the Chief Administrator's office. What would have transpired last year, about the middle of last year, there was an agreement between the CPO, Ministry of Education, and tutor at a tripartite meeting.
He emphasized that for those leaves to be classified, there must be an official authorization letter from the Minister of Education granting Tobago the authority to carry out that function. At present, that authorization has not been issued, meaning Tobago does not have the legal mandate to classify teachers' leave. As a result, no action can be taken in this regard until the required approval is received.
However, for those leaves to be classified, there must be an authorization letter from the Minister of Education giving Tobago the authority to classify those leaves. At presently, that authorization letter is not in the Tobago, so Tobago don't have authority to start to classify the leave. So basically, nothing is happening where that is concerned. With the absence of that authorization letter, nothing can really take place.
Until the Minister of Education issued the necessary authorization, Tobago cannot classify teacher leave. This lack of approval means no progress can be made, leaving the matter unresolved and teachers' leave management stalled indefinitely. This is AMPLIA Balgobin reporting for Tobago Updates Television News.
Landlords across the country face a new tax deadline. Registration for the Landlord Business Surcharge begins this Sunday, March 1st. The Ministry of Finance says forms will be available at ird.gov.tt. All landlords must register with the Board of Inland Revenue by May 30th. Missing this deadline will result in automatic fines. Individuals face a $1,000 penalty for every 6-month delay. For corporations, the fine is $2,500. The surcharge is creditable against final annual tax liabilities. This ensures that rental income is not taxed twice. The move follows debate over Clause 19 of the Finance Bill. Critics argue that the registration process is too complex for small owners. However, the government urges everyone to sign up and avoid penalties. Stay updated via the ministry's social media pages. The news will continue in a moment, but why wait? You can follow every story, every update, all the time. Join the conversation. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Tobago Updates. Don't miss a beat. We will be right back.
Tobago, it's Carnival. The Vibe, the event space formerly known as Shade, Fordham Court, Tobago, says, let's celebrate Carnival. Bring your coolers every Friday and Saturday, starting from Friday the 30th of January till Carnival week, and pay $50 at the door with your cooler all night. No ice, no chaser allowed. Top DJs and artists passing through every Friday and Saturday. To pre-book your cabanas, call 369-6414 and 394-3612. Or email iwamg@gmail.com. And this promotion is going on until Easter. Gates open at 9 p.m. It's rum, it's bacchanal. Bring your coolers and come.
Been down this road before. All that left is rum and bacchanal. This is Carnival.
TL Promotion presents Laugh and Live this Good Friday, 7 p.m. It's non-stop laughter at Birchwood Legacy Park, Lowlands. Special guest from Jamaica, Mr. Funny himself, Owen Blacker Ellis. From Trinidad, Rising Comics, Alan the Entertainer, and Son Son. And from Tobago, Amateur Comic, Bishop Terence Baines. Listen, this is a laughing matter. Get your tickets now at Den's Electronics, 2nd floor, Port Mall, Scarborough. An Island e-tickets or call 685-1988. At the door, you will pay more. It's gonna be a family affair. Laughter is good for the soul, whether you're young or you're old. So get your tickets now. You can't afford to miss it. Add some laughter to your Easter.
As you come in. Long time I see you. This station pumping. Ready for children party. Mommy! Jay, you can't go nowhere with these children. And you know you can't depend on Kevin neither Steven to see about them. Yeah, total waste. So I supposed to stay home whole time? Jada is 12. She could see about them. You just leave Jada to see about Kia and Kayla? I thought it's your mother or your sister. Who? Them always busy. Jada could handle that. She cooking and cleaning a long time. And the next two, better know what time it is. It's only me, you know. I will talk to my mother. She just home these days. She will make sure the children okay. Alright. Let me see the moves for later.
Before you ramage, make sure the children okay. Call 996 to report all child abuse now. A message from the Children's Authority of Trinidad and Tobago.
Coming up, fets, pan, parades, soca. Yes, Carnival is in full swing. Artists from all over added their strokes to Antigua and Barbuda's canvas. A boost for these Barbadian projects through the power to make a difference. Equal servings of culture and good cheer. It's Caribbean Passport TV right here on this station.
Welcome to Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, where innovation meets excellence and service reigns supreme. Our commitment is simple: to provide high-quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl, and glass solutions for both commercial and residential spaces. At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Our range includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style. Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business. Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products. It's about relationships. It's about you. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
Thanks for staying with us. The Tobago House of Assembly is calling on local business owners to speak up. The Economic Management Research Unit, headed by Dr. Selvon Hazel in the Division of Finance, needs data from local businesses on financial losses due to the recent cargo ship. THA launched this week an urgent online survey to quantify the damage. This study follows weeks of delays with the inter-island cargo service. The Blue Wave Harmony recently resumed its sea trials after repairs to its hull, and night berthing trials have begun ahead of its March 1st operationalization, but the supply chain gap persists. With this survey, business owners can now submit specific details on lost revenue and increased costs. The THA will use these figures to create recovery plans. They want to avoid guesswork when helping the private sector.
As well as to avoid speculation, and people just calling figures out, we need to know the true cost. And that will assist the Tobago House of Assembly in seeing what measures it needs to put in place to ensure that we keep our businesses afloat.
The goal is to quantify the true impact on Tobago's economy. Data will also help the Assembly plan for future supply chain issues. You can find the link to the impact form on the THA's official social media pages. Every day we bring you closer to the issues that matter most. More than a year after the Tobago oil spill, many local farmers report they have yet to receive financial restitution. For our social media poll today, we asked, given the timeline, which statement best reflects your view on the current state of the compensation process for Tobago fishermen? 2% voted unacceptable delay. The process is moving too slowly. The immediate economic impact on families should have been prioritized. 35% voted necessary due diligence. While the wait is difficult, complex environmental claims require extensive time to ensure funds are distributed accurately. 35% voted verification log jam. The delay is likely due to the ongoing need to verify individual catch records and prove specific losses. 14% voted insufficient transparency. It is difficult to judge without more public data on how many claims have been processed. Remember, your voice counts too. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram and join the conversation by voting in our daily polls. The weather report is up next. Stay with us.
Promotion presents Laugh and Live this Good Friday, 7 p.m. It's non-stop laughter at Bertrude Legacy Park, Lowland. Special guest from Jamaica, Mr. Funny himself, Owen Blacker Ellis. From Trinidad, Rising Comics, Alan the Entertainer, and Son Son. And from Tobago, amateur comic, Bishop Terence Baines. Listen, this is a laughing matter. Get your tickets now at Den's Electronics, 2nd floor, Port Mall, Scarborough. An Island e-tickets or call 685-1988. At the door, you will pay more. It's gonna be a family affair. Laughter is good for the soul, whether you're young or you're old. So get your tickets now. You can't afford to miss it. Add some laughter to your Easter.
Coming up, fetes, pan, parades, soca. Yes, Carnival is in full swing. Artists from all over added their strokes to Antigua and Barbuda's canvas. A boost for these Barbadian projects through the power to make a difference. Equal servings of culture and good cheer. It's Caribbean Passport TV right here on this station.
Now for a look at the weather update from the TNT Met office. Tonight will be generally fair with a few partly cloudy spells and brief isolated showers across Trinidad, Tobago and the northern leewards. Tomorrow will be generally sunny, hazy and breezy with the chance of brief isolated showers. Nighttime will be generally fair apart from lingering isolated showers. Gusty winds are possible near showers and a significant concentration of Saharan dust remains present. Sensitive persons are advised to take the necessary precautions. Conditions across the remainder of the Lesser Antilles will be partly cloudy at times with a few showers, especially during the daytime. Tonight's minimum temperature is expected to be 22 degrees Celsius at Piarco and 24 degrees Celsius at Crom Point. Tomorrow's maximum temperature is forecast to reach 31 degrees Celsius at Piarco and 30 degrees Celsius at Crom Point, with heat indices climbing to around 35 degrees Celsius in Piarco and 34 degrees Celsius in Crom Point. Seas will be moderate, with waves near 2.5 meters in open waters and near 1 meter, occasionally choppy, in sheltered areas. A hazardous seas alert yellow level remains in effect, and mariners are advised to exercise caution. Sunrise tomorrow is at 6:21 and the sunset is at 6:16. And that's all the time we have for tonight's Tobago Updates news. Have a great weekend. But before we go, let's recap the headlines. Motley blasts kidnapping claims in CARICOM arrest row. 2 robbed at gunpoint in Lambeau late night attack. And UTP leader Lambeau's Prime Minister's break with CARICOM Peace Award.